Yo, yo, yo. Good morning, everybody. Will, what's up? Jay, Oki, TOK, Martin, Capitals, Igor, Mantis, what's up? Yeah, the the intro song is a little much, but I can't have anything that's non-copyright, so that's the only issue. El Jefe, System Revolutions, Brett, what's up? Good to see y'all in here. Hope everybody's having a good morning. If you guys can like the video, I appreciate it. It seems like you guys already have so far. I do appreciate it. It means a lot. Yeah, I do have to change the intro song. It's gonna get repetitive and annoying. I already don't really like it that much, but at least it's something. I really do like the stream loading screen. It's actually really good. I can't deny it. Pump up the jam. Alright, we're going to get into today, as long as everybody can see the screen, everything looks good, and we can get rocking and rolling. It's a lot of guessing, trading ICT, TBH. Yeah, sounds like it. It's all good on your end? Alright, cool. Thank you, Will. So we had today, if I'm not mistaken, we had core PPI release at 7 or 8:30. And that got released. We have CPI, which is tomorrow. Mantis, appreciate you being a private member. Thank you, sir. And we're going to see what CPI does. I mean, today I'm expecting probably lower probability in terms of delivery. I mean, anytime there's major news drivers ahead of me, I'm very, very weary of the day before. So we have, again, CPI, which is tomorrow. And I don't really know if price is going to be willingly able to trade in a nice, easy fashion. We saw that yesterday where yesterday was really, really high resistance. We had a really short, choppy range throughout the entire session. I think yesterday was such a good learning lesson, man. It's a very difficult one for me personally to teach in, just because at times people don't understand that there's going to be models, there's going to be certain things that play out, but yet not participating in it. If you watched last night's video, it was a great explanation of being able to see the model, seeing certain liquidity pools, but understanding that, yes, could you operate inside of that successfully? Sure, and I have. But being able to do it over a long period of time, let's say a 5-year span, 10-year, 15, 20-year span, being able to successfully do that, I have found that it almost is impossible for me to do so. So the smarter option for me is to sit out of those conditions. You know, I could sit here and keep trying to figure out how to participate in those days where we're very high resistance, very low probability, but I don't need to figure that out. As long as I understand that the day's going to be low probability, I can see it and I don't participate in it, that's a job well done by me. I don't have to participate in it. So hopefully yesterday you guys learned that, and I know some people didn't, but I think yesterday was a really good learning lesson as well. And we'll see what today provides. Again, I'm going to be probably a little bit more hesitant to be trading today, just because of what we have in front of us tomorrow. If we didn't, then I probably wouldn't be as hesitant, but I also know that the delivery is affected by tomorrow. So they kind of go both hand in hand. Igor, I appreciate you being a private member. I thought then when I put that on that honestly only private members are going to be able to chat, but I guess not. I don't really think it comes with much perks besides that. But I do appreciate if you want to support the channel. It's only $1 or something. I made it $1 for that reason, because if it was only able to chat, then I think that would have been cool, but I guess not. Looks like we almost got about 100 viewers in here. I appreciate everybody tuning in this morning. And we're about to roll into what we already opened. And we'll kind of just see what today provides. Yeah, but I also do like chat. I know not everybody would maybe sign up for it. I mean, maybe. I might do it, I'll be honest with you, if we keep getting bigger and bigger. Just to keep out a lot of nonsense, you know. It does slow down the chat and help me. Members only chat. I might do that, to be honest with you. So it's only $1. I mean, if you guys don't have $1, you know, it is what it is. Well, let's take a look at the 1 minute chart. We have a new week opening gap resting within a new day opening gap. So both of these are kind of overlapped. That's your new day opening gap from yesterday, and then your new week opening gap there. So both of those are in confluence with each other. If you look at the highs here, I want you to observe ES. What did ES do? ES made a higher high while NQ failed to make that higher high. So that is an SMT divergence bearish wise. Look at all you guys go. And that's all my private members. I appreciate y'all. So we'll see if we want to dig up higher. I talked about yesterday in last night's video that there are some relative equal highs that I'm quite weary about that are resting up here. So these relative equal highs, those could possibly be ran throughout this week. I mean, it just sticks out too easily to me. Eddie, what's up, brother? Hope all is well. Need some music. The video's too quiet. If you guys could pump the likes up to 60, 75 likes, I would really, really appreciate it. We can really get the stream going. If I had to guess something for today, I would honestly anticipate probably higher prices. But I don't see a whole lot in here. We'll see what the macro kind of looks like by the time we get there. But the way we've dropped prior to the open and prior to the news event driver we had earlier, if you take away the new day opening gap, it makes it a little bit easier. We dropped down lower. And we took the sell side here. We've displaced higher. We have this inefficiency, buy side imbalance, which is resting here. We have the inversion fair value gap. And since then, we've been displacing away from it. I think that this is too easy. By the time we come into the macro, if these are still left intact, I may try to actually go for that. So we'll see. It's a little bit sloppy in here. If you look at like a 5 minute there, maybe into like a 1 minute, it's a little sloppy breaker, but it's there. You have a low, you have a high, you have a lower low, then you have a higher high. That's your bullish breaker. Then right off the open, we've dropped down. We've taken out sell side liquidity here internally on the 1 minute. We're displacing higher, and we're coming off of that new week opening gap and new day opening gap. Nikki, JH, welcome all the new members. I appreciate all you guys. You guys are great. Igor, I think you are. I'm gonna have to put on your badge. Designated RTH man. You're the only person that reminds me to do this. I think it's literally every day for the past months. I swear I'm so busy every morning with this live stream, so I just forget to put it on. If it wasn't for him, I would forget. So look to see if we can travel into that buy-side liquidity there. As we come into the macro. I mean, I'm not super eager just yet, but we'll see. And yes, we've dropped down into 50% of that opening range gap. We've expanded away from it. I'm just trying to sit and observe currently. We do have S&T on the lows here as far as bullish. ES made a higher high in that news event driver. And it's technically the stronger one. So I'd like to see it kind of pick up some speed here to really feel confident. Rage Harder, what's up? I remember you. Could use the new week opening gap, new day opening gap, RTH. Yeah. Kryptonite's been the one that I've used, and I love it. Islam. I bet your private group. Yes. What's your name in the actual? Is it the same name? Now you got me curious. I gotta look things up. I don't think that's. You got definitely a different name. Yeah, I gotcha. First presented FEG would be down here, so not a whole lot. If you look at this formation again, we've dropped lower, expanded higher. Technically, this up close candle would be your bullish breaker. In real technical terms, it's all of these up close candles. I'm just being weary of the time. I'm looking at the time, and I'm trying to be cautious of it. We could run higher in here, engineer more liquidity, and we have this drop lower. So I'm kind of just going to be a little bit more patient with time. All right, Nikki. I'll see you later. Will, welcome to the family. I appreciate you. The CJTRADES fam. I don't know. All right. I gotta come up with something. extend this sell side imbalance. I'm going to try this 15-second bullish order block here. Of course, the fill was not what I wanted, but nevertheless, it's okay. When we drop down into this, that's what I was looking for on a 15-second, and I'll explain it. I'm a little bit more focused currently. I want to see us get to 21,144 ultimately. How we trade above that would be the question to see if I carry it on longer or not. This is the only thing I was semi-concerned of, is if they're going to sit and engineer liquidity at the top here. So it's going to kind of find some life. I don't have a huge stop loss, so I'm not too concerned as far as risk. I mean, if I get stopped, and there's that. I'm not too concerned with it. I really just wanted to try a pretty low risk just to start it, if they're going to willing to run it. So I may chill out. This is the only thing I was concerned about, as far as if they're going to run this or not. If you look at ES is technically the stronger one since it's made the new high, and it's not really willing to join it. So it's much like yesterday, where we failed to run the highs and we sit and we engineer liquidity. It's harder to predict when price is going to get real close and near to buy side and then just drop. It's very hard to predict that. DJ Family, I feel like the beats are playing it. Can you hear the music? Is that actually a thing? I don't think so. No. What about the daily bearish FEG? I just think at least if you're going to utilize lower prices, or at least look at it through that lens, these highs need to be cleaned at one point. Whether or not they get cleaned right away today, I don't know. Again, the framework of today is understanding that CPI is ahead of us tomorrow. So if price becomes much like yesterday, very high resistance, very reluctant to have clean runs, it's due to that. So even getting like a small stop out like that, I'm not like freaking out. Doesn't mean that my model's flawed or I'm stupid. I understood that if I got into the trade, I wanted to see a quick run to the buy side, and if it didn't happen, I understand why it didn't. It's okay. Am I bullish on the daily time frame? No. Sloth, I appreciate you. So we'll just sit and see what the macro does. I would be willing to long it again if there was something in here, but if not, then I don't have to touch it. this up close candle would be the bullish breaker. It's utilized it a whole lot now, so I don't know how much I'm willing to trust it. If I was going to see a run, I'd like to see 21, 138, and basically 144. I mean, same thing. Yeah, so it may turn into a day like yesterday. They're a little bit harder some days to at least see, where they're very aimless. I have to keep emphasizing it. With CPI ahead of us tomorrow, that's going to create conditions like this where they're a lot more difficult. They're a hell of a lot more difficult, man. And that's just where, even if you take a loss, you have to be willing to chill. You don't have to get it back right away. Taking a loss is not an emergency. It's not something where, your life is at risk and you have to solve that issue. The issue can be solved later, at a later point. Whether it gets solved today, the loss, or whether it gets solved tomorrow or next week, it doesn't make a difference. It's not going to change my life. If we truly are bullish, and I'm not going to do anything with it until the macro, even if we were bullish, it would have to basically react in this area here where we've dropped down into this discount from this dealing range low to that high there. We're dropping down into this really deep discount. This down close candle is your bullish order block, and that's your inversion fair value gap. Pay attention to the bodies and where we're closing currently. Right? So that's a really deep discount retracement. And if you look at your 5-minute time frame, if you look at this wick, wicks will act as gaps. You split the wick in half, 50%. Where's that at? 50% is right here. So we're just reading order flow, seeing how we react. If we get a reaction off of this and we start seeing higher prices, I may be willing to join it. But I have to see some evidence here of that in order to be willing to join it. We're about to get inside of the macro, which would be another decent confluence. Game over. That's alright, man. That's your opinion. It's my opinion. It doesn't mean that I have to be correct. But why would I not like again, if I was to be trusting the daily time frame sell side imbalance, which it still can work, I'm not saying it can't. I'm looking at the economic calendar today and saying, well, due to CPI being ahead of me, I really don't trust a real move to unfold. The real move I believe that's going to unfold with CPI is lower prices. But with CPI ahead of us tomorrow, I believe that real move will be held off until tomorrow. So, and even if it was to get above the relative equal highs, it's still within this sell side imbalance. Where's 21,144? 21,144 is right here. If you get above it, you purge it, it's still within that sell side imbalance. So, even if I was to be going short, even if I was biased short, having relative equal highs above me would make it difficult to want to do so. That's just me personally. Slot? No, that's alright, man. You guys have to learn. I mean, that's part of, and you'll see this will happen where I'm gonna have a certain idea. Somebody says a comment, and I end up getting it right, or reverse the rules. I'm not a person to sit here and have a fat ego, and I understand that these markets all the time. I'm gonna screw up analysis. Obviously, I'm sitting here live streaming as somebody who claims to know what the hell he's talking about, but we all have personalized analysis, and you have to understand that this game is very personalized. Yeah, and that's another good point, Romer, is if you look at ES is a little bit different. ES could drop lower, take sell side, create a S&P at the lows, or today does absolutely nothing. That's another thing that people forget. It's like people think something has to do something. Look at yesterday, we didn't do anything. And people are calling me stupid for not trading. It's like we didn't do absolutely anything yesterday. If I had to say what supports a bearish idea is because of this bearish divergence here, we have ES that printed this higher high here, and Q failed to do so. So if we were going to leave the relative equal highs, I would have to see some evidence of that and work away from that buy side liquidity level in order to trust that we won't trade to it. Midnight opens here. We've worked basically above it and beneath it. We're sitting basically right at it. If you guys don't mind, if you haven't liked the video already, if you can, I would appreciate it. And some of you may be wondering, the reason I didn't long that is because I'm looking for evidence out of that discount. I'm not longing it out of that discount. I want to see evidence where price would move away from that discounted area, since I'm already a little uncertain as far as if it's really going to run for it. If it started to really move out of that, then I'd go to a seconds chart and look for something in there. So the right side of the new week and new day opening gap looks like we took the low in here. Opening range gap, or RTH gap, we still have a little bit to fill in here. Jabbers, exactly. I think being right or wrong on analysis, I mean, you could be right on analysis but still lose. You could be wrong on analysis but still win. I mean, overall. So I always teach that it's really not that important. I think a lot of people get confused with that. If you look at your 15 and even their 5-minute structure, we're still, the reason I'm not really hell-bent on shorting this so far, I mean, we're still within this buy-side imbalance and with this inversion, And even these down close candles are your bullish shorter block on the 15-minute. So from that stealing range low to high, we're just dropping basically down an optimal trade entry. So it's pretty difficult for me to want to short this. I'm not stating that even longs are optimal currently. Same thing that we utilized when price dropped down into this wick. You'd still just reverse this wick here, where you have about 25% there of the wick and 50%. So even though there isn't like a fair value gap or something, we can still utilize that wick. And we'll see if we'd want to trade down. This is the nearest sell side liquidity pool, which is at 20,944. And if we got beneath that, then it would be this buy side imbalance, which is resting underneath it there. I forgot to mention this. This is a bearish breaker there. You have a high, low, higher high, then you have your lower low printed sell side imbalance within the breaker. That up close candle would be your bearish short block. Devon, yep, that would definitely be in consideration. Jafar, I'm not sure. You'd have to ask one of Will or Romer or one of the guys. Jafar, you're right, man. We don't. I don't. I don't look at the comment. Guys, it's all right. It's fine. A lot of things right in that 1 minute chart there. You have this sell side imbalance. That up close candle would be your bearish order block, and then you have your new day and new week opening gap there. Whether or not we leave that open as a breakaway, that'd be a question or not. If you want to do like some standard deviations, I think this would be a cool study for some of you. If you want to get some projections as far as where price could potentially lead to. Breakers are a really good point where you pull from this high to this low. -1 lines up down here right at that sell side liquidity pool. -1.5, -2. Those are good projections as far as looking for a standard deviation. Still am looking at like a 4-hour, 1-hour chart, and I'm trying to really determine if we're going to see this lower move today or not. But it looks like we're possibly coming into fruition for at least a possible run to that sell side liquidity pool at 20,943. Even though this is like decent, I just don't trust it, man. I really like. I'm very, very hesitant to short this. To be honest with you, it's got some good PD arrays and some good things there, but I just don't know how much we're actually going to utilize it. Again, the economic calendar is a huge proponent as to why I'm not trusting a whole lot. If you look at ES is climbing a little bit higher than where NQ's at. And we're still within on this 15 minute. I mean, yes, we've closed beneath this buy side amounts, but it's just a bit of a wicked range in here. The hourly, I'm trying to see if the hourly would actually, I'm trying to envision if this would unfold lower. If you guys are just tuning in, I appreciate it if you haven't already liked the video. So we got 67 likes, 175 people in here. Sorry, I'm just looking at some emails. I just don't see a whole lot in here that I'm interested in. I have a feeling that this could go very aimless, so I'm just being very cautious with it. There's sometimes, this is where experience just pays, and a lot of losses and suffering pays, is where there's times where you just almost can't articulate why you don't trust something, or you don't maybe particularly like a setup, even though there's a lot of things there. Within ICT's concepts, I believe that that's just experience and losses and things that you go through. Currently, I just don't know how much I trust this to sell off, so just kind of chilling. I could see both sides very equally. With relative equal highs resting above us, it does make me very cautious. I can't state that enough. I can't state enough that the economic calendar tomorrow makes me very cautious of doing something. Yeah, I would say as well as something like this where we're getting really close to this near side, sell side. And with a new day, new week opening gap, this imbalance in here, you should see only really, to me, that either be a breakaway or just essentially just an IOFED. Like right here, it should immediately sink it because it's so close. We've already made this headway towards the sell side. As soon as you close above that, it starts to become almost aimless to me. So I don't see a whole lot in here right now, and I don't know how much is going to actually come into fruition today. We'll see. But it looks like something like yesterday where it's a lot of aimless trading. I'd be a little bit more confident in longing this if ES made a lower low underneath this 825 low, but it never did. Since we're getting above this sell side imbalance, we can invert it. This will turn into inversion. But since we're above it, we'd like to see if that would be utilized for potentially higher prices. Will I be longing it off of that? No. But I will be looking at it through a lens of seeing if it respects it or not. If you look at your 5-minute time frame, all we did was just drop down into this discounted buy side amounts. I mean, we almost fully closed that in. It's a very deep discount run, and it's a very sloppy range. But see, I'm a little less talkative today. I'm honestly just tired. There's days where I'm really, really talkative, days where I'm probably not. You know, I'm trying to focus. I won't be talking as much. Jafar, yeah, I know. You like it when I don't talk. I see how it is. I just don't trust anything in here. It looks very seek and destroy-ish or consolidational-ish. I mean, it's pretty damn hard to trust. You have liquidity on both sides of the board. It's the same thing as almost yesterday, just in a bigger range, which means more risk. I can get rid of the opening range gap since we've filled in it and we've basically utilized it for its entirety. You start scanning through these time frames, I mean, we've already taken out this sell side liquidity pool here. So if we were to leave this, that would make sense. It kind of just goes back to my original idea of looking for those relative equal highs. We'll see though. Mantis, yep, first presented FEG is right there. So between 932, 933, and 934. That's the first presented FEG. If you look at even the 1 minute you can see it, but a 15-second time frame you can really see a potential market maker buy model. It's actually pretty clean. Market maker buy models, you should be able to flip them on each other where they become almost like mirrors. So this is your sell side of the curve. This might be the buy side of the curve. Yeah, that was a really deep discount run. I trapped a lot of people short there. And we'll see if... I mean, I definitely believe we're going to run towards 21,143. It's just whether or not I like the entry pattern to get into it. You had your inversion there, first presented FEG, and then inefficiency we worked off of. Accidentally, yeah, I saw your post. I don't know why I deleted it. What a drop in here. It's just very fidgety, man. This price action is not giving me a whole lot. Can't hear me. I gotta turn it up. Hello, hello. Hello. Yeah, something like that where you get kind of a just very manipulated drop. I would say it's very uncharacteristic. Much better? Okay. If you look at your 15-minute, anytime I'm trading intraday or I'm looking for runs, I'm looking at constantly a 5-minute and a 15-minute. I'm looking at it, I'm trying to envision an actual run on a 15-minute time frame. This 15-minute just does not seem clear to me. I don't like the way the structure is. I don't like any of the price action to be getting. So if you see that, I'm not trying to force it. We're not in a rush to do anything, man. I don't have to trade today. Like, you should be going into that mindset every day of like, I don't have to trade today. I don't have to do it. A lot of you feel the need to trade. I don't feel the need to trade. If it doesn't seem right, if I don't have the confluences and everything I'm looking for, I don't have to trade it. Excuse me. The only way I'm really going to trust this is if we really work kind of near this buy side liquidity pool, because if we're getting close in proximity to it, it's more than likely going to run it. I taught this last year, is like if you get close in proximity to a drawn liquidity, you can aim for the last 25% of the run. Why the lines and not the box, JH? I like the dotted line because that shows the 50%, right? You want to see 50% is the most sensitive area of it. So I want to see, with any PD array, I want to see the sensitivity around it. Oh, it just depends. It's just my OCD. Like sometimes I like putting boxes like I'm doing now. And sometimes I like putting lines. Usually if I already have one or if something's already overlaid, then I'll put the lines. Just kind of depends on what my OCD is saying. I want to see a run in here. I wanted to see this kind of drop into this inefficiency. We're within this bullish order block here. JHN, you'll learn I just have OCD when it comes to this, so this kind of depends. If we drop into this inefficiency, I may be willing to go long. We'll see. I just want to see how we react in there. If not, then I'm going to leave it alone. Because this would have to be the last point of interest in here. This down close candle plus this inefficiency, this would have to support price higher. Which I'm going to try it. And if that doesn't work, then this thing's in a really, really tight range and we're not going to do anything else the rest of this day. Will price invert before taking out that high again? Not sure what that means. Oh, dude, I did back day at the gym yesterday and my back is killing me. Fuck. So that type of drop there, I mean, it's not good. That's probably going to be a stop out, and that's going to be it for me. I ain't touching price no more. I mean, my stop loss is underneath this low where this inefficiency is, but more than likely it's failed. Since we've dropped underneath this bullish order block, it's more than likely it's failed. And that would be it for me. Again, I'm not freaking out over some small, minor paper cuts. To freak out over them and be upset, it doesn't do you any good. Well, yeah, that could be a possibility where we retrace into this inefficiency, but since we were already this close in proximity, the anticipation was to leave this on or leave that lower discount open and run for the buy side. We still could run higher. I could just be very close to getting stopped out, but more than likely probably will. I don't think this is probably still valid, to be honest. We'll see. But since we are really failing to make runs today, we're really failing so far to make these clear runs on liquidity in terms of externally, I don't want to keep pushing in this. That's not something, especially if you've taken a loss, you've taken 2 losses. I mean, that's it. Like right there, that's it. Like, does that hurt? Does that feel like, well, damn, man, like I'm a failure, my life's over, I suck at trading? No. You executed on a model that had a framework. You did the best you could. You tightened your risk, and you move on to the next day. I'm not going to try to keep pushing this just to try to make money back. I mean, that's idiotic. The one thing I wish somebody would tell me is just to, I mean, I think a lot of people do give that advice, but to really tighten down on the amount of times you're trying to push in shitty environments. I mean, if you look at yesterday and you're trying to get your money back and trying to push inside of that, I mean, today could end up just the same, where you don't move. We never take the buy side, we never drop it on the sell side, it just ranges and does nothing. Yes, does your emotions maybe tell you something different where you really want to get that money back, you really want to do something right now? I understand. But you have to save yourself, exactly, Debbie. You have to save yourself from tilt, you have to save yourself from destruction. I've gone through so many times of just destroying my accounts, destroying myself, where it just, the pain is too, it's insufferable. I can't do it anymore. It's got to the point where I can't do this anymore, where I just destroy everything I worked for, because if I just took those two simple losses and then the next day I walked into the next day with a fresh, clean mindset and I executed on a model again, then I would have made the money back. Or I'm stuck trading a bunch of garbage and I blow the entire account like I've done 100 times X. I don't want to fall and make the same mistakes. It's not a good sight to see. Like, even though that I could see that, okay, well, we dropped into a deeper discount, dropped into this inefficient, we could still run for the relative equal highs. I don't care. It is what it is. Even if price did that, so be it. The reason why I wasn't anticipating that real moment of time is if price is spooling, it's making headway towards a certain liquidity pool, then it's going to want to utilize on a 1 minute time frame the newest and closest inefficiencies or PD arrays that shouldn't be willing to drop into that discount. Should have left that as a breakaway, and then didn't. Right now, this is just all aimless. If you're journaling this right now, what would you write down in your notes to explain the two losses? Well, I think a lot of times too, as far as journaling is, you can try to correct it as much as you can, try to learn from it. But I also think that people, when they journal their losses, they are trying to learn how to never take that loss again. They're trying to avoid that loss. But yet again, you learn from people that say your model has losing trades. So if you executed your model correctly, you executed the things that are outlined for you, then you did a good job, did you not? You did the job you were supposed to do. That's what I would journal. As long as I executed the model correctly and I did the things I was supposed to do, I just say, job well done. Good job. And move on with it. You execute, as long as you're executing your winning trades the same as your losing trades, so you're doing the correct job. It's like people forget that. It's just because of the feeling. The feeling's it's not great. It doesn't feel good. CM, yeah, and I'm aware of that. I mean, how many times did I state that? How many times did I state that today was going to be lower probability? Does that not mean that I can't be willing to take the risk, or I can't trade today? No. I was willing to take the risk. Now that may be for you, where you just say, all hands off, I'm not going to trade this at all. I'm not going to do it. Jacob, in like a high resistance profile, or again before CPI, something like that, price can be willing to hold and engineer liquidity and have very short runs. It doesn't make long stride runs, or in short bursts it might, and then that's it. So I stated this yesterday on the Sunday weekly forecast. I was aware the CPI could do this. Was that a mistake? Would I journal that as a mistake? No. I allow myself to operate in conditions like this. But if I take a loss, I mean, I'm not going to try to keep going into it. I'm just going to leave it alone and move on to the next day. I want you all to envision what consistent profitability looks like, because I don't think, I did this drill many times with a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people envision what consistent profitability is really. Consistent profitability, if you really want to envision it, excuse me, I gotta get rid of this ad. if you look at consistent profitability, I want you to envision what that really looks like, and not just the lifestyle, not the money. What does that look like to you? Well, if I had to give you an idea or a framework, what happens if consistent profitability is losing, two weeks out of the month, where you're losing for 2 weeks, but you're really tight on your risk. You take a couple losses throughout the last 2 weeks, and the last 2 weeks you execute on your model. It outweighs the risk that you had on the previous weeks, and you end up turning into a green, right? Or even week by week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday you lose, but then Thursday and Friday are winners. People think that every single day has to be green, and that's what consistent profitability looks like. If you get in this mindset where you understand that losses are normal, and every single loss that I have is getting me closer to that win, then they don't feel as bad. They really don't. It's a very difficult thing to, I think, for some people to grasp or understand, because it's nothing like the real world where losing is good. Losing's actually good for you, because it does get you closer. As long as you're executing on your model, this entire game is based on probabilities and variables. And as long as you're executing on your model, it's getting you closer to that next probable win. Exactly, Will. And I mean, you guys saw me even in the private group last year. I went to a phase of drawdown, and that's also normal. Where you don't win for an entire month or two. At least you may win trades, but you're not in the green positive for a month, 2 months, and you have to get yourself out of drawdown. And you shouldn't be going into severe drawdown. But if you're just hovering underneath your, whatever your equity high was, and you're few percentage away from it, and you're kind of just keeping stagnant around that or dropping a little bit, that's normal. You're going to go through periods where price is just not giving you the setups that you want. It's not the condition that you want. So these are normal things that I just don't think people emphasize enough in this community, and it's just made into this one big everybody wins all the time. You have to find the model that's always winning, and if you don't, you're a loser, you suck, I'm better than you type of mentality. It's just that type of mentality, to me, it's never going to get you very far. And even look at what we're doing in here. I mean, if I was to go back in and try to force an idea, I would have no idea. I mean, it could go higher, it could go lower. Eventually it's going to do one of the two things, and I'm content with not being a part of it. It's okay if I'm not a part of that move, because that whole time before it reaches that liquidity pool, it could do 100 different things, and I could take 100 different stop outs before it even gets there. So I'm willing to just do nothing. It's a much better option. Jacob, exactly. If you have enough funding, I mean, you only need to take a few trades in a month to really find your footing or find a really good consistent profitability. Yeah, that's the when we go into mental game of trading, go into psychological things, like what you stated, Will. That's a really good logic statement, but our brains can't comprehend that in the moment when our emotions take over, right? With sound rules, you know that you're going to win more than you lose, right? Long term. You could have a sticky note, or you could have the biggest thing in front of you stating that, but emotionally, once that takes over, basically your frontal cortex, your emotions, whether that's anger, greed, fear, whatever it may be, you put in that flight or fight state. It doesn't matter what is stated. So you have to be cautious of those emotions even before they arise. That's the whole main point of his book, is watching for these emotions and making maps, being a detective, understanding when those things are to arise. Even for me, people ask why I live stream, because it really does help with a lot of my emotions, to be honest with you. I like teaching and being in the moment. But overall, I mean, I think it keeps me very balanced, keeps me very centered. If I'm off on my own, I'm a little bit more I can be more unhinged at times. I know my emotions are just a little bit more wild. I'm not held accountable. Me gusta. I know it's repetitive, but I appreciate these lessons, especially on these days. Yeah, most definitely. They're very important. I mean, we all go through the same things. I think it's a lot of mentors and even ICT himself. I mean, I think his spaces definitely do help last year, but especially as far as marketing wise, it's a lot of people just want to put on a facade. I mean, we're all real traders here. At least I am. So I understand the struggle and the pain, man. I've been through so much, so much. So many blown accounts, so many challenges, so much pain, dude. I don't wish it upon anybody. I mean, for the most part, everybody's going to have to go through it, and that's why people don't stay in this game long. Brett, I appreciate you, brother, of course. JH, yeah, there's a good section as far as in his book with boredom, the book Mental Game of Trading. For me, boredom loneliness would solve that. Like I know some people work day jobs where you're almost in front of the charts, right, where you're forced to. For me, I'm luckily not in that situation. Like I turn off my computer and I can just walk away, right? Like if I know that, like, again, I met like my risk that I'm willing to risk for the day. I see that price is just not there, then I'm gonna take my finger and I'm gonna go right down to this power button and I'm just gonna click the power button and I'm gonna go walk away and I'm gonna go do something else with my life that gets me away from these computers, that allows me to not have that itch, right? I mean, that's like placing somebody has a gambling problem in a casino, telling them don't gamble. It's like, well, if you removed him from that casino, he probably wouldn't be have that much of an urge. So what would you say is the hardest chapter? Are you saying of the book, or are you saying of the journey? Depends which. JH, yeah. I mean, I know plenty of people will. I know you're the same way, that, you're at work and you have the charts in front of you where you can't really escape it, I guess. I mean, you can close the tab probably, but I mean, even knowing me, if I'm emotionally charged, that's not going to keep me away from closing the tab. I'm going to open that shit right back up and try to trade. Of the book, I mean, it just depends on you, to be honest with you. I don't think any of it's hard. It depends what you're, like, we all have different problems, right? For me, it was tilt. So that was the main thing that I've worked on. I mean, I've had that book for 2 years now. It's almost 3 years now. For me, it was tilting, and I mean, I still have to work at it consistently. It's not like it just poofs like a magic trick and goes away. But the book helps you at least see it happening to you before it takes over. I mean, that's a lot of times, like, you'll be tilting or on edge doing a lot of dumb shit, and then you kind of wake up after and you're like, man, what the fuck did I just do? I just blew my entire account. I shouldn't have done that. If I just waited, if I just waited till the next day or whatever it may have been. I mean, if you're able to catch that before it starts rolling like a snowball effect, then you're doing a really good job. That's the whole point of the book. And I cover a lot of the things that we believe, false illusions and biases. It's a whole lot. Depends. If you have a greed problem, then you'll have to go into that. Fear, whatever it may be. Lucky for me, anger and revenge, perfect for blowing account. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, you have to be willing to put in the work in terms of psychology, probably more than technically. JH, yeah, that's one of my biggest factors is like me being extremely competitive. That's the reason why I had such a problem with tilting is I'm so competitive. And if you want to compete with these markets, I mean, in a condition where it's aimlessly trading, doing nothing, you're competing with nothing, dude. Like, the biggest, when in terms of like flipping that on its head, because I struggle with that, it's like, how would I compete with my bad habits and my bad traits? I compete with that. I try to win over on that. I try to conquer that and not do those stupid things. That to me is winning rather than winning profitably in my account on those days where I'm really tilting. If I can win over on that emotion that's really urging me to do it, then that's a huge win. That's a major win. That's the type of competition I want. Conquering those emotions, not conquering trading and winning. Athlete or gamer? Yeah, I mean, I've been an athlete my entire life. I've been extremely competitive. That's really where it comes from. I think that's where dig into it. Jacob, yeah, I mean that's something I'm aware of as well. Is when I lose on live stream, it does. I've been doing it so long now that it feels the same. But it is a factor in the back of my mind. Like, I have a lot of people that watch me lose, and then the comments that come after and the responsibility of people. Yeah, I understand. That's why people don't live stream. It's not an easy job, but to me, it just is what it is. If I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna lose in public, or I'm gonna lose privately. It's the same shit. I mean, that is what it is. As far as what price action is doing, and I mean, if we run for the sell side here, even though we're getting real close to it, and there's a fair value gap here, and I could make my money back here. I don't care. That's that itch. That's that. I just gotta get into the market. I have to do something. Just be willing to sit. I mean, here's a drill for you. Take a couple losses and fucking handcuff yourself, or I don't know, tie yourself to a bed. Have your mom, your dad, your brother tie you to something, and just sit and watch the charts and just suffer after losing. Because you're able to do that and just sit still and watch. Be like, everything's going to be okay. If it traces the sell side, I'm not a part of it, which I won't be. If it gets there, guess what's going to happen? Nothing's going to change. Nothing. Could have changed though, CJ. I could have had my money back, and then I'd be really happy. Jacob. I was really first last year when I first started live stream. I was really nervous. Every time I took a trade, dude, my heart would be bumping. I literally, it feels very natural. I'll probably sit here for a little bit more, but I mean, that's basically it for today. I mean, that's how to handle a losing day, especially in, if I take a loss or two and I can see that I may have made a mistake as far as reading price, and I can logically sit there and say, look, the price is actually really good today. I've just kind of made a little error here. Then I'll go back into the market and be willing to engage with it. But if I see that price is just kind of aimlessly trading, I don't trust the condition, there's a lot of factors that point, it's probably low probability, and I've already kind of lost and I don't want to lose anymore, then I'm done. I'm like, that's the smartest move on the chessboard you could make. That's the smartest thing you could do. John, I appreciate the streams, man. I actually have the same problem. I don't know how many funded accounts I've blown. And yes, dude, everybody blows accounts. Everybody, and more people than you know blow their accounts and blow more money and do stupid shit behind the scenes. All your favorite influencers, all your favorite Twitter traders and YouTube, all of them do it. All of them. Every single one of them. And if they don't do it, it's probably because they conquered not doing it. It's normal. Obviously, you don't want to keep that going. You want to eventually conquer it. That's the reason why I'm speaking like this, because, I don't think I'm ever going to, I don't like the word conquered, but I've gotten good at battling it, what I will say. and day to day, I've gotten very good at battling it. I still have the urges to really want to go in and tilt and do stupid things depending on the day and the situation. But yes, you don't have to feel that bad about the things that you do. It's part of the process, but you also don't want to keep that going. I mean, nobody's going to save you from yourself. Nobody's going to save you from doing that. I mean, you could just keep doing that until the end of time, until you die. And that should scare you. How long have I been trading in general, Jacob? 7 years. Yeah, if you guys could push the likes to 100, I would appreciate it. I mean, whatever you want to do. And the reason I do sit here is so you understand that this is what it's like. You know, I don't just take a couple losses. Maybe privately in my private group, I would have, just because I know that they trust. But I like to sit here, take the loss, and just sit with it. Sit with the feeling. Watch price action. Watch it take away. It's like, for some people, it's like pulling toenails off, and fingernails off. The more you do it, I think the better you'll get at it. Of like sitting with that loss, eating it, and feeling that emotion of fear and greed and tilting, and letting those dissipate. Norman, what is the percentage? I think anywhere between 2 to 6%. If you're starting with a whole live account, like if you're depends how much. I mean, funded accounts are a little bit more difficult, but I actually have a full live account. So like of $10,000, I'd be wanting to risk like $200 a trade to maybe 400 at most. You want to divide it up to where, to me, if I had to blow the entire account, it would take 25 trades to like maybe 40 trades to blow the entire account if I lost that many times in a row. Because another part is, somebody asked, I forgot to go over this, is if I take a loss, I'm willing to keep the same usual risk on for the day, because I usually allow myself like maybe two losses, maybe a third one. But if I lose like 2 to 3 trades, the next day I'm going to go in with less risk and try to aim to make at least half back of the loss or the full thing back, and then go back to my normal risk. You never want to just keep your same risk on the entire time. So you want to, if you're losing, you've taken multiple losses in a row, you want to reduce your risk rather than keep the same amount of risk on. So if you're keeping the $200 risk on, then move it down to $100, then move it down to $50 until you can get back to your starting equity. Jacob Hurst, I've only ever traded on paper trading. Yeah, it doesn't work too well. Cloud, I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, Jacob, I still think, like, for me, even 9 to 10 trades that's, you know, you can easily screw up 9 to 10 trades in a row very easily. I mean, because, you know, you could have one win and then lose 2, one win, then lose 2, 3. You know, it's never going to be 9 in a row, but you'll start chopping away at that tree very quickly. That's why giving yourself a little bit way more room. I think generously you need at least, you know, if all of you did not have, and this is myself included, these such low funded prop firm account, you know, sizes, like when you actually look at a 50K account, it's really just $2,000. That's all it really is, right? If people didn't have that little of room and they had like $100,000 to work with, I mean, you would still be making a considerate amount of money risking, let's say, even 1% of the account, which is $1,000. If you risk 1% for 2%, you'd have 99 trades to blow the entire account, and you could still be making $2,000 at each trade. Like, people, with these funded accounts, they just size up so big because they don't want to sit and make little money and practice and do the right things. They just want to make money. That's all they're focused on, is money, 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 money. You have to be focused on the process, focus on the things that make you profitable, and then once you get to a large size account, then you can chill out. Then you can do the right things. You can't get money focused. That's, as soon as you get P&L focused, money focused, everything goes out the fucking window.
JH on paper trading until I'm confident for live, then starting with 5K only micros. Very good. I think that's a fantastic idea. I think I set in here like a growth chart of what you could do with, you know, five grand, 10 grand, and you can work that over a several year period. I mean, dude, that can really grow into something massive, and just keep that as your nest egg and keep building that account year after year after year. And you don't have to do any of the funded, you know, accounts. Because fundeds are cheaper, but 150K is really, in reality, only 5 grand. It's not 150,000. And 100K is 100K. But that's just me. Yeah, the macro's about to be in a minute here. I'll sit with you guys for like another couple minutes, and I'm out. Well, maybe the macro, but.
Grand, very good here. And even if you guys have an issue with that as well, I mean, move it to ticks, move it to percentage when you're looking at your loss and your wins. So when you see something flickering, you can just focus on price action. Focus on, okay, I shouldn't take a partial just because of the money. I'll take a partial when it reaches this high, because that's when my model or the process says to do so. I am hungry, man. I'm starving, actually. I need food ASAP. We'll see with this macro. I'm curious if we run out the sell side here at 20,943. And all in all, I mean, today was just a day where you engineered a lot of liquidity. I tried 2 times to long it into that buy side liquidity, and we just failed to do so. And I don't look at that as a mistake. It's something I did wrong and I'm stupid. Could I learn from it and maybe protect myself in the future? Sure. But overall, that's just something that I'm okay with. So, my stomach is killing me. If we take out the sell side, I'm going to end the stream because I'm thinking about to pass out from hunger. Will, very good here. I think it does make a huge difference. Yeah, I'm gonna end the stream. I'm so hungry. I apologize. I mean, there's nothing else here, and hopefully you guys hope you learned something today. I mean, it was another day where there's not a whole lot in here for me to do with, and that's okay. There we go. There's sell side delivered. Cool. All right, that's gonna be it for today. I'll be back with a daily log. I'll cover whatever we did, and then we'll be back for tomorrow with CPI, and that should at least free price up to where we start seeing something maybe a little bit better this week for the rest of the week. So enjoy your day, everybody. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid.